Hello everyone, welcome back to Zero News. My name is Storm Fury, and actually, will you just bear with me because I forgot to bring up the actual YouTube chat, which is always much more revealing than the StreamYard chat, as the StreamYard chat tends to censor a lot of things. Which also reminds me, if you are interested in using the chat, remember to go to the live chat option because Top Chat will always, which is the default, will always censor the chat. And it's not us; it's the way they set it up. So let me just make sure I've got you guys in front of me. So listen, I'm gonna the story I'm gonna try and cover a little bit today is one that I'm gonna try and cover in much more detail in a proper kind of report. And I'll be honest with you, just I always try and be honest with you. I don't know if I can do this live without preparation. I don't normally prepare for things. Maybe have a thought here and there, but I don't normally. But I think I may have in certain areas I may have met my match here. So um, yeah, so this is kind of an experiment to see if I can kind of just get any of this right, and then like I say, I'll cover it in more detail another time. So many of you won't know, and some of you will, and some of you will know, but it won't seem like that big a deal. So there is a lady. Um, let's see, hang on a second, where's she gone? Too many pictures loaded up. There is a lady called Gina Serrano or Carano, and she was part of a series called The Mandalorian, which Bolton said the other day was the most overrated Star Wars series ever, and probably true simply because it's the only bit of Star Wars that's been remotely like Star Wars in the last God knows how long. Um, but you don't need to be interested in Star Wars to follow what I'm about to talk about. In fact, Star Wars really has little to do with it. But let me just try and find you something. 1 second. Oh, so I mentioned Gina Carano the other day. She's let me just see if I can share the screen here. She's an ex mixed martial artist, and not just she's not one of these people that's just got it to a name. She's got a record of 7-1, and then had brain enough to realize that she could make lots of money, not getting her brains bashed in. So fair play. And she's a strong female character. So what I'm trying to show you. Hang on, sorry. Let me just concentrate a second because I'm need to show you. So yeah, okay. So if I just show you that, that will do. So as I said to you, the person that owns Lucasfilm and makes these crazy decisions is a person called Kathleen Kennedy, who's a raving third wave feminist. So you think, at least as far as perceptions were concerned, this would be a match made in heaven, even if behind the scenes maybe not, but doesn't matter, right? It's perception to them. Well, this is, oh, I don't know if you can see that. I thought it was supposed to be sharing. Hang on a minute. Sorry. This is why I didn't want to do it live. Can you hook this up? 1 second. All right, is that sharing or not? I can't even tell. Fuck's sake. Right, okay. So if I make that bigger, so the point of it is if you look at the roll, I don't know if you can see the mouse pointer, but if you look to the top left, that picture, in fact, most of the top row, you've got images of her in the latest show, The Mandalorian. She's not been in every episode. She's not. she's I don't know if she's what status she is, guest star status or whatever, but she's been in a lot of episodes. And I think the plan was before although they've been looking to drop her for a while, the plan was, I think, to grow her um character, and to really expand upon it. And they were, at first she was the first time we saw her, she just seemed like a muscle bound, anybody. And they started developing her character into something really interesting. But the problem was, and I don't know if I got time to find it for you now, but it's something you should really, really have a look into. And that's if you have a look at, right, so she's working with Ben Shapiro now, okay? If you have a look at an interview she did with Ben Shapiro, I think she did it in the last 24 hours. It's one of the most enlightening ones that you could watch, because without going too far and throwing certain workmates under the bus, she makes it clear on no uncertain terms what the working conditions are, which makes her one of the very few whistleblowers uh, who've actually come out and said, this is the state of things. This is what is expected of you inside of Hollywood, not just Hollywood, but inside the studio, inside your job. This is what will happen to you. And her crimes, her crimes are, and bear in mind she's part Italian as well. So normally she's, she gets to be part of the club, but the problem is that she's the wrong kind of Italian, because she's what's the word? She's conservative. So that being the problem. So with it being conservative Italian roots, and the fact that she doesn't need an identity politics to hide behind. And she's been very forthcoming. If you see any interviews with her you'll see it if you watch the Ben Shapiro one, but even more so if you watch some of the other ones that she's in. She's very, very sweet personality, but she said herself, I didn't know this today, but she's not even really been into politics very long. She's like many people. She's not actually had much of a political view. She's been dragged into politics, a bit like the way I was, where I wanted to just make a podcast about silly stuff, and she's trying to make a show about whatever, and she's been dragged into all this other stuff. And so I could kind of understand, her confusion. And she put in the Twitter status, your bio, she put in beat bot boot instead of I'm 56 genders or whatever else. And the whole transgender community and the leftist community, everybody came down on her with hashtag fire Gina Carano, fire Gina Carano. And she wasn't mocking the transgender community. It was so blatant. She was mocking the system. She was mocking the ridiculous nature in which Twitter was acting. She was mocking the nature in which she was expected. Because I think what had happened as well is people were pressuring her to put something there, to put a pronoun there. And I think she felt like it was a way of fighting back against the bullying to conform to being a certain way. And this is something that she's revealed in a Hollywood scale, not like we didn't know, but the bullying that's going on. It's not just well, it is your job they're threatening to take away from you, but it's the whole I don't know what the word is, the whole MI5 way it's kind of done, No, I think MF5 is too kind. I think probably probably Bolsheviks would be more appropriate. So yeah, so this lady, thanks to the Fire Gina Carano hashtags, she also said in a Twitter post, I shouldn't forget these things. She said in a Twitter post that during the war with the Nazis, the beginning of all that, the beginning of the hatred of the Jews, She said it started out with neighbors kicking in their neighbors' doors and attacking them in the streets, children beating up Nazis, children beating up Jews, and um, that's how it started. And she was saying, what's the difference between that and attacking someone for having a different political view? That got turned into that she was making fun of the Holocaust, that she was just all kinds of stuff. And it was like blatantly obvious what she was saying. So the hashtag's fired, Gina Carano fired. She's fired. So she had a top place as a top female, which is what they fucking claim on and on and on and on, claim that they want. Oh, and the wage gap that doesn't exist, and the way right on and on and on. So they got a strong female character. She's ethnic. She's in a role. She's brilliant. She's perfect for the role. Everything. But her her politics don't match up. So she's gone. That's it. End game. Gina Carano's gone. There's no comeback for it. There's no nothing. Thankfully, she's landed a job there with Ben Shapiro. So okay, I've already told you some of this stuff. So why even bring you here today? And this is the part that's going to be a bit difficult for me because I haven't prepared this right. But so how do I do this? So I want you to meet someone. I want you to meet. I want you to meet Christina Ariel. This beautiful young lady is well. When I first saw the picture of her and found out what she was doing, which is there's a comic book series called The High Republic, and it's a Star Wars comic book series, and she's going to be in a show is in a show which I think is aimed at teenagers or children. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's aimed at a young age group anyway, a very young age group, because it's kind of like a companion show, where they kind of go and find a little bit about how something was created or written or blah blah blah. So, but the High Republic really, from my understanding of it, is basically a comic. So they're there to really talk about any shows or comics or whatever else they do on this High Republic, which we will come back to this High Republic thing. So, my first thought on her was, what a sweet lady. I saw her like acceptance of the role. Oh, by the way, sorry, the one thing I didn't tell you about the last story was Gina Carano was Disney also came out and said that her behavior was abhorrent and all this other stuff, and they sided with other people. That was important. You knew that. Sorry. So yeah, so this Christina Ariel seemed absolutely lovely lady. Seemed really one of those warm, friendly people when you saw her reacting to this show. Anyway, one thing I thought was that she was young, and then I saw something. What was it? I think it was this. Hang on. I think it was. Yeah, hang on. It was that. I think it was. I saw something because something got me looking into her. Hang on a second. I hope it's going to be the right one. Hopefully, will. I saw this one and thought either it's the hairdo or she just don't look so young. Anyway, so I find out she's 41, and so that mean at the moment you're probably wondering why that means anything. We'll get there, but first let's take a quick detour. So she's also been the receipt of some racism, some of which I can't or won't put on here. But the let's say milder stuff, or just a couple of things. She got the job, and she got is this one of them? I hope this is right, one of them. I haven't put the wrong one up. Oh, am I putting the right one up? Or maybe I'm not. No, hang on. I think these are. Oh, now it's stuck. I can't. Sorry. Right, I can't seem to find it at the moment. But basically, she had some tweets. My mouse was going a bit crazy. Sorry. Basically, she had some tweets, and those tweets were were racist, and one of them though, I will put to one side because it said that she got a job due to her ethnicity and her political stance, which I thought was very unfair when I read it. But hold that thought there, and if I don't bring that back up, remind me because it's important to come back to that one. Um, and so it was like, why has she got this racist attack? Why is she, you know? So then I'm like, well, you know, how old? So I had a look. She's 41 years old, right? So I'm like, well, Disney's not gonna. Disney's not just gonna employ for a major franchise like Star Wars. She's either going to be an up and comer, you know, in the 20s or whatever else, or she's going to be someone seasoned who is going to be, you know, is going to have quite a lot of experience in the TV industry. And this is what I found out. I know Wikipedia is not the be all and end all, but this is, you know, there's always something on there. Do you know what I mean? There's always something on there. And when I went to have a look for it, this is what I found out on Christine Ariel on sorry, I just need to stop that a second. On was it not Twitter? Sorry, on Wikipedia, which is absolutely nothing. Um, she's done nothing of note. She's the host of the Star Wars High Republic show, which is the very thing I'm talking to you about. Is that not odd to you guys? I mean, if she was 21, that would make sense to my first reaction, which was she's young, she's an up and comer, but she's 41. So that age, surely you need to be coming into this with something, right? So at this point, I'm like digging and thinking, well, why? Why? And see, I knew stuff as well. What I haven't told you is the High Republic that I talked to you about earlier on. This here. This is an SJW attempted flop. So what this is there's a battle going on within inside this. I know it sounds crazy, but within inside this company, one part of the company is kind of like the old school, doing Star Wars the way that fans enjoy it, and they're doing it one way, and people are enjoying it. But the third wave feminists and Marxists will not have it, keep telling the fans they're wrong, and they keep trying to shove this crap down their throat. So there was a massive universe of stories, books, and everything else, which should be built up over time. And admittedly, when you've got that kind of universe, it's inconvenient because keeping continuity is very difficult. Nevertheless, they shelved thousands of stories only to produce this crap, which is an insult to the amazingly talented writers that wrote all the stories that have now been shelved. Um, and this is, as I said, blatant SJW stuff. And so it became very clear what was going on and became very clear to the audiences as well. So what happened was when this launched, it launched as a complete and utter flop. It totally and utterly failed. Um, and do you know what they blamed it on? Do you know what they blamed it on? What would you think? Would you think of all the things that they were blamed on? They blamed it on sorry, let me just take this off. They blamed it on Luke Skywalker. Um because he had basically, as I said, it's a spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen it, but at the end of season 9 of The Mandalorian, he comes in, does a really cool scene where the scene that people have been waiting to see since they were a kid. We Luke Skywalker into the room, being the most powerful guy in the room, doing the coolest shit that you've always wanted him to see. And every guy had a little child woken up in him for that minute. And they just did. You know, whether they want to admit it or not is up to them, but they just did. Um, and it caused a massive stir, and it actually brought, believe it or not, brought a lot of people together, and everybody was in a real good place. For the first time I've seen in ages, there was a community that seemed to have found its place. I was like, wow, you don't see this very often. And then they had to ruin it because they brought out this SJW shit. And the next thing you know, the fans are well pissed off and just like not buying into it at all. Don't want to know. Probably why they've done this side spin show, because saying anything to try and sell a few magazines. And rather than just accepting once again that if you try and sell kids third wave feminism, it's not going to work. Rather than accept that, they blamed Luke Skywalker. They said that basically by giving him a platform when he's already had his time at the end of that series, which has nothing to do with this one, that not even set in the same time frame, that he took their shine basically, which is ridiculous. It was the end of the season, and this is the beginning of something. And also just crazy to think that's happening within a company. Like one part of the company blaming the other for saying you've taken the shine off this. In the LucasArts office, there are pictures of Luke Skywalker. Right now, everybody remembers Luke Skywalker, quite a wimpy guy, right? Quite a wimpy guy who just happened to kick ass with a lightsaber, right? But quite a wimpy looking guy. He's there with a big red X on him, a big red cross on him in all the offices and that, because, and I think the idea is he represents the white male patriarchy, so therefore he's to be destroyed at all costs. Which, if you then go and watch a film like The Last Jedi, you can see that exact thing happening. If you go watch that film now, knowing what I've just told you, you'll see that they systematically go out to humiliate the actor and the character in every conceivable possible way that they can before killing him. The only thing they left out was arse rape, and that's probably because of the PG rating. Other than that, they did everything else to him. The poor guy, he went through it all. So, and it seems to be a theme of humiliating the old characters. But especially him, he was a symbol to them of the white male patriarchy. Just nuts. Not entertainment, not just bringing back good memories. No, it couldn't be any of that, could it? So this person got attacked. Now, by the way, she got attacked, right, racially, and there is no excuse for racial attacks. There just isn't. And whatever she said, I don't agree with racial attacks back or whatever else. I just don't. I just think she should be highlighted and ostracized if she does something stupid. But what I find out is I'm looking for her and I'm trying to find out what is it that she some was yes, I did email you, Kaylee. Yes, I did email you, Kaylee, definitely. Sorry, I just seen that. I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay. Oh, I just realized. Oh no, you're on your PC. I just guessed. Shit. And you're not gonna be able to get. Sorry, I should. No, I can't say it on air. Sorry. Where was I? Where was I? Where was I? Um. I can't fucking think where I was now. And give me a second. Give me a second. But this is why I really didn't want to do this live. Um. Right. So she was viciously attacked and all the rest of it, right? And this is the thing that goes on. Whether it's a Star Wars community, and this is the point. It doesn't matter if it's Star Wars. It doesn't matter if it's Star Trek. It doesn't matter what it is. wherever you go, it doesn't matter if it's Vikings, it doesn't matter what it is, wherever you go, you've got this SJW infiltration of whatever entertainment you like, and these people that claim to love it, but really they just love the idea of destroying something that you like, whether it's new, whether it's been around for years. They just got to get their claws in it and just ruin it somehow, which is why we've had so many reimaginings of films that have just gone straight down the shitter as a result of that kind of thinking, and it still doesn't stop them. So I'm gonna just read you a couple of things, because I was trying to find out, where has this girl come from? She's not in the mafia. Where's she come from? Well, all I could find out about her was she was a Twitter activist. That's it. I mean, what is a Twitter activist? Anyone? Is that just someone that trolls on Twitter? I don't know what a Twitter activist is. Hope you're okay, Katie. Hope you're okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. Um, right. Some of these quotes might be on here. So if I bring some up here, um, oh, these were people defending her. So I think, hang on a minute. So these are some of the posts that she's put out on Twitter. And this was the Star Wars came out and supported her. Obviously they would in a racist attack, but what they didn't do is address any of this. Didn't address the months and months and months and possibly years, I didn't look that far back, of constant hang on a second, you can see that there, just let you read that. As I said, I'm not doing this properly, this is kind of a dry run, but constant racism that I see from her. Look at this. For people who are listening, I was in such a good mood. White people, you do not get to absolve people of racism. You do not get to point out their growth when they say Black Lives Matter after treating us as if we don't. You do not get to accept apologies on our behalf. That shouldn't need to be said. Right? This is this wonderful girl that's going to be talking to your children. Just as a reminder, yeah? Just as a reminder. This was the people coming out and backing her up with all of her hate. So rather than me being put off by trying to squeeze a few tweets out here, if I just read you some stuff here. Okay, so white people, fucking stop it. Your racism won't save you. Your ignorance is not an excuse. Some of these are answers to things. Some of these are quite literally stuff she's got up and typed. I mean, literally. Just a reminder that white women are just as complicit in the upholding and enforcing of white supremacy. Watching two white men discussing racism they will never experience doesn't sit right with me. White men, this is not the subject for you to speak authoritatively on in my comments. I said what I said. The amount of women I've had to do foul shit. Sorry, the amount of white women have had to do foul shit to me and then blame me for being intimidating. Mind-boggling. You couldn't imagine her being intimidating, could you? Yeah, mind-boggling. I don't want to see not one more think piece written by a white person about why they think all black people will vote for Kanye West. You sound dumb. If one more person asks me why, it's because white people seem to think that black people exist as a monolith Oh gosh, she's just lifting that from other people's speeches and only believe one way. They think that when one black person says something, we all feel the same that way. And the only reason that phenomenon exists is because people like her only ever shout how she feels at you and never just tells you. Makes it hard to communicate. Basically, they are ignorant as opposed to trying hard because of PC culture. Because oh no, hang on, oh no, that's me. So people called her on a bullshit, and I think this is how she said, "I don't have an ego. I'm also not a bully. I've said repeatedly I don't owe white people a conversation about racism um, while stirring the pot. I've been living it. I've been living it. Um, they have been doling it out. They have been doling out. They, that's you, that's me. They have been doling out. Um, don't people employing their sorry. I just wrote a note myself. Don't people employing her realize that she hates them? Um, Conservatives, please stop invoking racism like you give a shit. Why? So when the Luke Skywalker thing came along, and they blamed Luke Skywalker for the failure of this SJW show, she said white people would rather stick up for a fictional character before they would defend black people. What a fucking narcissist! She's a fucking narcissist. Crazy, crazy narcissist. Oh my god. Um, Sorry. So yeah, she's gonna be running a show for aspiring young kids. And they're gonna be using the biggest, most kid-friendly franchise on the planet to be planting their already Marxist and feminist views on your kids. And then they've employed this probably unemployed before because I can't find any record on her 41-year-old Twitter activist to be a mainstay of a regular Disney show, talking directly to your youngins. Um, and you telling me she's gonna have some creative control here? You telling me she's gonna put none of this in there? Unlike Gina Carano, Star Wars came out in support of her. They congratulated her. They backed her and said they were with her all the way. Unlike Gina Carano, she had the backing of all the Twitter mob, and she had everybody on there um, giving her the backing because she received that racist abuse, which is why those thick, stupid, racist bastards should just get out of the way because you don't give someone like that an excuse like that. Let them hang themselves. Don't give them the racism. Let them hang themselves. Um, because she's the most racist person in the room, and it should be shown, and it could be quite easily shown. Um, so while you've got one person being removed for their opinions, this person here has not only not been removed, she's been praised. She's also not removed any of these posts. These posts I was talking about. Um, yeah, these posts I'm talking about. She's not erased any of them. Normally, a company like this, after a hoo-ha like this, will ask you to erase all posts relating to the subject, and often they'll ask you not to post about it again. She has not changed remotely, and she has not erased a single post, nothing. The treatment that everybody else would get on the even on the left, to be honest, um, doesn't apply. Doesn't apply to her. And I wonder if the reason there's no bio of her because she got lucky because she's been a 41-year victim, and that victim has finally paid off. Because now I come back to that person that said she'd used her ethnicity to get a job. Now, when I saw that comment, I thought it was vile. Now I've seen those comments of hers, and now I've seen what I've seen. She's vile, and actually, it's very possible she did use her ethnicity to get the job, simply because of the way that she's prepared to manipulate people with the system, um, and young minds. If you're prepared to do it to kids, then everybody else is fair game, right? So actually, as far as I'm concerned, she's dangerous. So this wasn't about talking about Star Wars. This wasn't even talking about the war in Hollywood, because I know you're not that interested. This is talking about, this person has been given license to talk to your kids. You won't know about it. They would just be watching the show on Disney Plus, and you won't know a goddamn thing about it. And I know we've not got loads of viewers tonight. We've hit a new all-time low. Somebody reckons we're being shadow banned. I do know that they are unsubscribing people from us every day, and a lot of people have written to me and said to me they found my videos in different places and they've had to resubscribe and they haven't even realised. So just bear that in mind. I think something is happening to the channel now. It's just where it is. Disney is messed up. Whoever said that, it is really messed up. It's one of the most sick companies there is. But I'm just going to go through comments quickly. But so I thought it was important. Look, we made a promise when we started this channel to try and shine a light on all the things that they don't want you to see. While it may not be the most full of drama story, and like I say, well, I may need to tell it the proper way, which is chronologically and edited and everything else. I need to try and see if I could do this way tonight, and I couldn't quite get that spot. But I wanted to try. It's important that people know what their kids are being subjected to in the name of entertainment. So let me just catch up with you very quickly. Yeah, Disney is messed up. Hey, yeah, it's good to see you. Good to see you, mate. Hey, Bolton, how you doing, fella? I should, just in case anybody wants to jump in, I should just offer you this. I meant to do this earlier on, forgot. If anyone wants to jump on. Do you see? Did you see Coca-Cola wants white people to stop acting white? What? Oh, Jesus, come on, you need to explain this. You need to explain this. I mean, I've heard something to that effect, but not said quite those words. Hey, Heather, good to see you. Good to see you. Wow. Wow. Interesting stuff. No, I didn't know. Didn't know about all this stuff. So I'm still catching up on the news today. No, I'll be honest. I've sheltered myself today. I've had a bit of a busy time, so I decided just to shelter myself a bit today. I just like the days just keep going round and round and round, and like I said, I've got video footage of stuff, and I still haven't got it ready, and it's like, yeah, and then jobs are building up, and I just want to get some stuff done. Um, feel like I'm getting sort of stuck in mud where I should be moving forwards. So, um, yeah. So I think VK ban. I don't think they banned Tommy. They banned his community page, if I'm right, which effectively made VK fucking useless to him. Unless they did ban him afterwards, I don't know. But I know they took his community page down, which was just, yeah. Sorry, just trying to catch up with you guys. Dear. Just catching up still. Everyone will visit the garden in March. I'll be visiting something else. Probably people that like her believe. Hang on, let's bring up. Probably people like her believe that white people are endemic white supremacy. Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. The only way. So They've tried to say that people are racist, and because it used to shut down conversation, right? So it worked. So that's all they need to do: say you're racist, and that's that. But then obviously you get desensitized, you get used to it. So we started saying, no, actually, fuck off, we're not, and I don't care what you say. So then they needed to go one further. So they needed to say, well, you're inherently racist. What? Yeah, you don't. It's not actually even your fault, but you're born racist. What? Oh, and by the way, you're the system's racist. It's systemic racism. So you're born into it, and you wouldn't even know. It's the perfect ruse. It's the perfect ruse to tell someone that. I mean, that's sort of thing you want to know if you want them in a cult or something, isn't it? Oh, you don't know it, but yeah, you are a scumbag basically. You don't know it, but you're a scumbag. Um, uh, Terrible thing to say to someone. Um, so yeah, I think that she, I think that some, but this is what I was saying about America though. I bring her up as an example because she did get a lot of hate, and I'm not talking about just the racism. She got a lot of hate, a lot of it quite justified from a lot of black people who just wanted her to get the fuck off of a political high horse, accept that she was nothing more than a small time part of a small budget Disney show, and act like it. And that act lucky that a Twitter activist has got a platform at all, and certainly not sit and talk about all the hardships and everything else when she's not having it that hard right now, is she? Um, landing a job like that with absolutely no what appears like to be no qualifications or no. I mean, I'll keep looking into that. I don't want to say that's a fact, but everywhere I've looked, it's come out the same. 1 second. Why don't you call out the root cause? It's all part of the Commie Clown active measures. I don't know what that means. See, I've never really watched South Park that much. I know people would be like, "Oh, fuck's sake," but there's another problem too, Tom. We'll tell you after. Oh, okay. Oh, fuck's sake. Okay. No problem, but no problem. Um, hold on, what's not racism? What's not racism? I'm talking about um her being a racist. What's not racism? What's not racism? Racism's not racism. Anything? I've got to be quick here. I'm live, right? So if you got anything for me, you got to be quick. I can't keep everyone on hold while I'm waiting. Um, okay. Am I cracking up for you guys? Because my screen's gone very funny. Hopefully it'll come back. Come on, come back. Hopefully you still see me. If you actually, can you give me a thumbs up? You can still see me, guys. Something's gone, but there we go. There we go. I don't understand the reference there. I think I must have missed something. Maybe it's because the comments are filtering stuff out. I don't know. Maybe I missed something there. But yeah, anyway, that's the short report. Um, in which it's very hard to it's very hard to make it an interesting report that's going to resonate with a lot of people when you're talking about things like Luke Skywalker, Hollywood. Why should you care? And I totally get it. It's because it's a reflection of what's going on in society. It's because there's a civil war being fought on in every place conceivable. Um, it's because other people, even comfy actors, are fighting this civil war. Um, it is happening, whether you choose to fight it or not. It is happening around you. Um, and like a friend of mine said, will you be, will you be asking yourself one day why you didn't fight? Because in America, BLM have got plenty of black people that hate them. In this country, that's not the case, and we are right now. Um, we're we are what's the word? We're a few steps away from being absolutely exposed to them. Um, and I'm not talking about any charitable type of organization. I'm talking about an organization built on destruction and that has made $2 billion and has not spent penny on its own pe a single penny on its own people. So we can put all the bullshit to rest about what it's there for. It's there as a military, um, horrid, horrid entity. Um, just doesn't give a damn about the very people that it claims to stand up for. That's what's worst about it. Look at all the worst organizations, Hope Not Hate, stand up against racism. They're all the nicest names, and they're all the worst of the worst. It's disgusting, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, if you want to see what black people think about Black Lives Matter, then you should really look at America, and you'll see that obviously a lot of people still agree with them, but you also see people from big jobs and whatever else to small people who you wouldn't know. You'll see a lot more black people completely split, and a lot of them think Black Lives Matter should do one. So I think Black Lives Matter should fucking do one as well, especially from our fucking shores. When you realize when they force you to look at your own history and realize how ignorant you are to your own history, and you realize that your country spent most of its time fighting slavery, was the only country that had it illegal. Why are we even brought into the conversation? And we paid reparations for something that we were fighting. The only country fighting. That's important. The only country fighting it. Fuck you coming on our shores and causing racial tensions and trying to divide people who've lived happily alongside each other. Motherfucking pieces of shit. Anyway, coming to try and tear down our statues and shit like that. Has it never occurred to you that maybe there might be a black person or two that's quite happy, that's quite proud of some of those statues, that's quite happy to go and have their pictures taken with some of those statues? Did it occur to any of you? No, because you don't give a damn about anybody else but your own little militaristic fucking agendas. You make me sick. Spit on your fucking graves. Right. Storm Fury. Actually, no, I just say hello quick. Sorry. I was going to go, but got you. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I didn't quite click on. I'm tired. I apologize. Right, I'm with you. Sorry, sorry. I'm sorry there. Got you. Oh yeah, I used to watch that. My dad used to do that crazy impression of that guy. I forget what his name is now, but yeah. Um, I didn't. You know what? Yeah, Django was like. I find a lot of Quentin's films like fascinating to watch the first time, but hard to call them brilliant. There's something about it. It's really strange. I liked I liked the idea of seeing the fucking slave kicking some ass. Do you know what I mean? I like that concept. And there was bits about it I liked, but it's not one. Most of his films aren't ones that I would sit and put on the rewatch list. You know. So, um, oh fuck me. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. Bolton said. Starmer says saying they should be looking at which statues to call down now. Graham saying I'm telling YouTube of you, you're talking wrong thing. Oh dear, I know. I've got to remember when they're watching to make the face. Um, make Africa great again. Yeah. Yeah. So and I was talking about someone earlier on, and about like the big trap, the big trap, with a lot of people at the moment is the question of, um, oh, would you want more ethnic people in the country than white people? And that's the big tripping block for a lot of people. That's where a lot of them stumble, and that's where you get this division. And um, and I think that people from both sides need to be a bit understanding here, and this is one of those areas where you just need to be a bit gentle and a little bit understanding. So from the one side, it's understandable for anybody that's been at the moment been through what the British people have with Islam and stuff to be a little bit protective and to think maybe, hey, look, are my kids gonna have a place to live because I feel like certain areas are being pushed out, So that's and with the dinghies coming over, I mean, it's understandable, right? Um, so I think you can understand that. Um, I think at the same time, I think most people realise that the idea of having a 95 white percent Britain, that whether it was desirable or not, that was 100 years ago and it's gone. That's not worth talking about. Um, and the other thing that's always said is if Britain was for too many Normans in this country, yeah, first person had the bravery to say it. If the other argument that's made is if Britain had more ethnic minorities come together to become the majority than white people, do the question was do look, we think that they would give us the same opportunities as we've afforded them. These are the exact quotes. And um, honestly, I feel like it's a bit of a trick question because one, it all relies on the demographics being perfectly right. That's the first thing. Second thing is um, that. Sorry, my memory's problems. Just bear with me. Um, it's going to keep happening, but it will keep coming back. 1 second. That's why you shouldn't do these live. Um, I wish I had a wind back button on the live shows, so I could just wind it back and go, oh yeah, I remember. Um, but I can't. I can't remember. So let me see if I can put myself back in some kind of slot. Anyway, um, I think I was saying so you can understand. So you can understand Like what Black Bandman said that time. He said, if I was Anglo-Saxon, I would feel like my country and my way of life was under threat at the moment. So you can take some sort of sympathy with that side, obviously. Especially when you look at the amount of illegal people allowed to come in. Um, and often, people are allowed to come in as children when they're 30 years old carrying knives. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, what does anybody expect to come from that, Um, Same time, do we want an ethno state? The question of would we be treated the same if if we weren't the majority? Well, by who? By who? Who's going to be the majority? Who's going to be the majority? Because surely that'd be the first question to ask. Before you could just blanket say no, no, we'd be treated worse. Before you could say that, you can't say that. Who? They're going to be Hindus? Fucking Mormons? Do you know what I mean? I mean, seriously. Um, I'd say current day, current climate. If it was, if it was majority of people from Pakistani and Islamic roots, then we're fucked. I would say if it was a bunch of leftists, we're fucked. And so in the current day and age, probably wouldn't be as advantageous. But politics changes very rapidly. We've seen that ourselves. And um, I think that that's the whole point of Black and White Unite. Don't let them have that division over us. Let us be voting for the same thing. Let us be voting together. And that's what Black Lives Matter come over and destroy. They take that away from us. They take that ability for us to change things together away. And all they do is pull the community apart so that as a country we become ineffective at anything because we're split. And we should be looking at each other as um, I've always said I see someone as look at the way they look at me, the eye contact tells me a lot of things about them. It tells me whether they are a danger to me as a human being or whether they possibly present a kindness to me as a human being. And that's how I'll judge a person. Um, Not the color of the skin, not anything else, just on that. And on other things, obviously, if it goes any longer, interactions, things like that. That's how you base someone. That to me is, you know, you do it from a survival sense, aren't you? So you're basing on your interaction, and that's as simple as it can get for me. Um, Having predetermined ideas about who your opponent is, based on the color of their skin, for instance, is is also incredibly blind. And then, by the way, look, I'm talking Black Lives Matter here. Black Lives Matter are, and that girl there, blatantly saying all white people are scumbags because they're white. Yeah, so don't just think I'm jumping on one side of the bandwagon or the other here. I'm saying this is all madness. Um, but oh, I'm sorry, I forgot where I was again. Now this is going to keep happening. But this stuff's got to it's got to be exposed because the Gina Carano thing. I mean that's going to be made a lot of by the Daily Wire. Whether they're big enough to do much better, I don't know. But what needs to happen is there needs to be a like Stephen Crowder's fighting Facebook and that. There needs to be a massive victory for against big tech, both in terms of defeating them legally over their business practices and defeating them legally over their censorship practices. Both of those things would be optimal right now. We could really, really do with them. And yeah, just remember, like I say, you look at things like I saw someone mention Shamima Begum. Just remember, Shamima Begum had everything she needed to be radicalized. The local school the mosque, the the family, everything was all in a small area. Everything she needed to be radicalized is sent off. By the way, I'm not making excuses for her. I'm just saying anything she needed to be radicalized and sent off was all there, right in our country, under our noses, in a tiny little um, place where you wouldn't think anything different. That was all under our noses, um, and yet, and yet, and yet, you're called uh, phobic for then worrying about somebody who acts and dresses or talks like that committing a similar kind of act or behaving a similar kind of way. Um, I mean, we're pattern seeking monkeys. And well, yes, we do have a responsibility to control some of that monkey behavior. At the same time, we are pattern seekers and we are pattern seekers for a reason. It saves our fucking lives. Um, and God, yeah, it saves our fucking lives. I mean, there's a reason for it. Um, anyway, I don't want to outstay my welcome. Um, I feel like I have really because yeah, I like I say, that was something I wanted to try live, but not the last part, the first part, but I need more detail. So um, yeah, I'll try next time. But anyway, thank you for giving me your time. Let me know what you think in the comments, just about. I mean, do you realize the power that Black Lives Matter has, especially in Britain? Do you realize how do you realize how close they are to a checkmate position, or do you still see them as what they were in 2016, which was a failure? Um, yeah. Do you think the war in Hollywood matters? Do you think that it matters that it reflects what's going on in society, or do you think that it doesn't make a flying bit of difference? We shouldn't give a damn. Um, and just projections. I'd love to know your projections. Where we're going, what's going to happen, um, and yeah, where we're going to end up. Appreciate it. Okay, love you all. My name is Tom Fury. This is Zero News, and I am calling it a day for now, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for giving me a try out there, guys.